There's plenty of places to experience the Seth Williams Show, but if you want all the content, you need to join us on Minds. Get all the live episodes of the show every Monday and Wednesday from 4 to 5:30 p.m. Get the special bonus footage every Wednesday from 5:30 to 6 p.m. Get bonus content from Seth and Chris as it's produced. It's only $4.99 per month, so don't wait. Sign up today. Visit us at www.minds.com/Seth Williams Show.
Hi, this is Ian Hill from Judas Priest, and you're watching CMS TV.
What's the most painful way to die? Shotgun blast? Speeding bus? Drowning? But for many, burning alive is the most unimaginable fate. In 1994, Chris survived an industrial accident that left him with burns over 69% of his body. Just living defied all odds. In Call Me Chris, Chris Aiken shares his harrowing journey of survival, recovery, and the brutal honesty of facing life after the flames. It's raw, real, and a testament to human resilience. Get your copy of Call Me Chris today at chrisaiken.net or on Amazon. Witness the power of determination.
Welcome to Monday. Good afternoon.
Hello. How are we doing?
I was good until I started talking and feel like I'm losing my voice.
Hey, you sound all right. You sound all right. By the end of the show, you'll be like, well, thanks a lot for playing. Have a nice day, everybody.
I walked in and I saw Greg Mack this morning and I was like, hey, how you doing? He's like, dude, you sound sick. I don't feel sick.
And the more in your head.
Yeah, the more the day has gone on, though, I feel like. But I don't expect anybody to be listening today because everybody and their mother is out seeing Hulk Hogan and Giant Eagle in Strongsville.
Yeah, so I heard. Hey, before you go to that real quick, I just wanted to go back to what you just said. I thoroughly enjoyed the Greg Mack show. DJ Greg Mack on Twitch. I watched two different days of it, and it was both days was very fun.
Did you watch the disco one or the 70s one or whatever?
I watched the one on Monday, and then I watched the 70s one, and both were fun. I did not catch on Thursday. I was doing something else, but I caught 2 days of it. It's very fun. Greg's a good DJ.
Yeah, he's very good at what he does. It's very exciting.
Yeah, good stuff.
So I went to Giant Eagle today because Bob France wanted me to try to book Hulk Hogan for the radio show and the TV show.
Okay.
And he is appearing at the Giant Eagle in Strongsville today from 2 until 4 or something like that, I think it was.
Okay.
Well, one side 2 until 3:30, one side said 2 to 4, one side said 2 to 3. So I don't know. He was there. And I got a good picture of him getting out of his car. And I was able to talk to somebody for a brief half second. And then that's the last I saw of him because the line at Giant Eagle wrapped from the front of the store all the way to the back of the store, along the side of the store. And if you know the Giant Eagle in Strongsville, it's a rather large store.
Sure.
And then I decided, all right, well, I'll go inside and see if I could see where he's at and try to, like, sneak up next to him or something like that, because he's promoting beer.
Okay.
And so I figured, all right, he'll be in the beer department. And, of course, no, he's not downstairs in the beer department. You have to walk upstairs through a maze and get him upstairs. Now, the line was horrifically long, and it sounded like a party, though. There was music playing and everything else, and so there was no way I was going to get to him.
Was it Real American playing?
No, it was not. It was. They might have played that when he started. I don't know.
Right.
My intent was to go because I'm like, all right, I'm getting there maybe an hour early, and I'm going to walk into this thing with Real American playing on my cell phone, and I'm just going to walk right up to that table and wait for his ass to get there. No,
right.
If you were there like 7, you probably were first in line. But no, I did not end up getting to meet him, and nor, even if I did, it seemed like they were kind of like signing an autograph and then out the way.
Why didn't you use the handicap thing? I can't wait around. Hulk was the inspiration to me continuing life after they took my leg.
There was a guy who had like an American flag poster board and some pictures of Hulk Hogan, looks like from like 1982 or something like that. And he had a walker and could barely stand up straight. And he was waiting in line. So I can't.
Did he have 2 legs?
He did, but
then you should have caught him.
But they were kind of inverted.
Fuck that! You should have cut him.
Like,
why didn't you go up there, squeeze? Seth, you got to learn to squeeze a couple of tears out, and always use always use the leg. You should have walked right in and said, "The only reason that I've carried on living is because I love the Hulkster, and let me tell you, brother, if it wasn't for that leg drop, I wouldn't be able to continue because my leg dropped off." And just fucking play the game.
Nah, I mean, there were some of Strongsville's finest there, a lot of police there, and they all saw me walking around on one leg and did not offer any assistance to help get in.
But no tears. You got to squirt the tears.
I guess maybe I should have fallen.
Now, that could have worked, too. Fallen and smacked the ground and be like, all I want to do is meet the Hulkster one time before my other leg falls off.
Maybe I should like push the button on my leg, fell to the ground, and threaten to sue, the store. And then maybe then I won't sue if I just get to go upstairs real quick.
Or you could have come in the wheelchair with the one leg and then played the game that way and said, I don't know how I'm going to get upstairs to meet the Hulkster. Can you bring him down to me?
I mean, look, I'm not trying to be yeah. You mind if you could send him down, please, while I'm laying here on the ground? Oh, my God, please. But, it's tough to go book a guest when there's like 1,000 people there waiting in line. And then on top of that, it's tough to tell people, oh, yeah, hey, don't you know who I am? I'm Seth with the Bob France Show on WHK in Cleveland. Let me upstairs so I can book an interview. With 0 credentials, oh, by the way.
Yeah, dude, first of all...
I don't even have a badge with my name on it.
Let's play it out because I know exactly how this would have played out. Let's be real. If you would have gone in there and you would have gotten up to Hulk Hogan and said, yeah, I'm Seth from WHK and I want to do this interview. Can we get you booked? It's with Bob France and TV, blah, blah, blah. You know how it would have gone? Absolutely, brother. Let's do that. Give me your card and I'll call you.
Right.
And then you would have never got called.
Right. Or here's a contact, and here's my guy. He can give you a card.
Yeah.
You can contact him, and
it would have never happened.
so I mean, I feel bad. I want it to happen. I mean, God knows. I mean, what the fuck, dude? I mean, he's like my hero growing up. Like one of my heroes, all-time heroes.
Hulk Hogan?
I mean, yes. Now, why would I not want to, get him on the show or meet him? I mean, whatever. But I tried. And I'm going to continue to try, so we'll see what happens. Look, I mean, he was my hero when he had sex with Bubba the Love Sponge's girlfriend, dude. Like,
now that makes him more of a hero to me than his wrestling, that's for
Did
sure.
you see the video? She was way hot.
Oh, that Heather Clem? Yeah, she was a hot piece of ass. What was she doing fucking Bubba?
I don't know, but
Yeah, I definitely saw that video. She was a good piece of ass, that's for sure.
But yeah, I mean, look, I'm a huge fan. If it wasn't Superman on my leg, it would have been Hulk Hogan.
The Hulkster, the real American.
Yeah, it would have been one of those kind of things on my leg. Like he was literally second choice for my leg.
Yeah, see,
not the shitty Browns, that's for sure.
I agree with John Drake there 1,000%.
Hulk Hogan is wildly overrated. It's crazy. Who the fuck are you to say that, you ass?
I agree with him 150%.
You can't name who's better.
Better wrestler?
Better
let's
for the brand for the past 30 years.
Well, that's because they gave him the push. But as far as a better wrestler, everybody that's ever wrestled is a better wrestler. He's the only one worse than him that's even more overrated than him, Ric Flair. Another bum. Another absolute bum. I wish he would have died in his plane crash because he's a bum.
I was never a fan of Flair, but I mean, I that's just me personally. But look, I literally cried in 1990 when Hogan lost to the Ultimate Warrior. I cried.
Oh my God!
I cried tears. But I was like 15 years old.
Yeah, John is preaching exactly what I would say. I don't even need to say it, but I hated the Hulkster. Always did, always will, still do. As far as a wrestler, like when they brought him back to fight The Rock, I was like, you have got to be kidding me. You are going to make The Rock carry this fucking jabroni? Get the fuck out of here with this shit. I always hated the Hulkster. Always.
If it wasn't for Hulk Hogan and the Hulkamaniacs and the Hulk whatever you want to call it, the phenomenon that was him, the WWF wouldn't have been what it was.
They could have made a him out of anybody else, though.
Who? Name one.
At that time,
they put Jake the Snake out there, Macho Man.
Macho would have been way better.
Macho Man was always second fiddle to that guy, and he knew
because that's how they put him. Because Vince didn't like smaller guys, and Macho at his time in WWF was smaller than the Hulkster.
They tried to do it with Ultimate Warrior, and he flamed out.
The Ultimate Warrior was a kook, and let's face it, let's be real. The Ultimate Warrior was way more popular at the time than Hulk was, just on straight popularity. There was guy. Look at how popular the fucking Undertaker got. Another bum, but a better bum than Hulk.
John wants to fight now. John, seriously, he's pushing for a fight. Forget about crickets, dude. We're gonna fight to the death. Now Dream Theater really fucking sucks.
Well, they really fucking sucked long before John's opinion on Hulk Hogan. They stink.
Macho Man would have been better. Get the hell out of here.
Macho would have been better. He had
way
way more charisma than Hulk. He had better moveset.
He was a half-ass gimmick guy.
Dude, what was Hulk? He was an all-ass gimmick guy.
If it wasn't
Hulk did the same thing every match of his career. Gets beat up for about 15 minutes, then he hulks up, then he points at you and goes, whoa! Then he knocks you down, then he bounces off both ropes and does the dumbass leg drop, which is the dumbest move in the history of wrestling, and then pins you. The only move as dumb, The Rock, with the rock bottom. But the rock bottom is just the arm equivalent of Hulk Hogan's leg drop. It's the exact same move, just an arm drop. It's just an arm instead of a leg.
I'm not feeling it.
Hulk sucks.
I may not finish the show.
Well, it's fine. You will never get me to say anything good about Hulk Hogan. He stinks. He stunk. Even as a kid, I went to WrestleMania 1 at the Front Row Theater. It was like on big screens. And when Hulk came on, that's when me and my dad left. We left because he sucked. Didn't even care. King Kong Bundy was a better wrestler than Hulk Hogan.
Out here with that.
SD Jones was a better wrestler than Hulk Hogan.
Out here with that nonsense.
All of them were better. Junkyard Dog.
Junkyard Dog. Get out of here with that Junkyard.
Way better.
Now you're just trying to piss me off. That's
Paul Orndorff.
Now you're just trying to pull a John Drake and push the buttons. I mean, that's fine.
Paul Orndorff, way better.
Okay. Hacksaw Jim Duggan, right? He was better than Hulk Hogan too.
Nah, see, I'm not a Duggan guy either. The guy said woo and swung a 2x4. That's not impressive either.
On top of that, being the specimen of a man that he was, incredible specimen that he was.
He was in good shape.
He had the best theme song you could possibly have from any wrestler that has ever come before him.
And what, you think he wrote that?
He was the one that made
WWE put him in the position to be popular.
Okay. All right.
You don't think that's true?
I think there's a lot of people that are put in position to be popular.
Of course. I think every star in the history of WWE is that way.
Look, you could say The Miz was put in a position to be popular. He's still a douchebag.
He is. And he stinks too. He's not a good wrestler. Are you going to say he's a good wrestler? You know who's a good wrestler? Ricochet. I actually appreciate Roman Reigns, even though he's a 1 or 2 trick pony.
He's come on, you're gonna say that Roman Reigns, and you're gonna say that he's better than Hulk Hogan with the shit stuff that he does. They say that he does, and raise his arms, and then
what is Hulk Hogan doing that's different?
At least I got excited about seeing Hogan.
Yeah, because you were 10. Because you were 10.
I can watch that shit today. I cried today when I see him.
If you would have grown up with Roman Reigns, you would think that he was the best ever, and you would sit there and say, "Well, Roman had a longer title reign than Hulk Hogan, so he must be better."
Never.
Good point, John Drake. The Bushwhackers and Tatanka, way better.
Get the fuck out of
here. And the Red Rooster, for that matter.
All right, now you're just pissing me off. Now you're just picking any old Kamala Harris wrestler out there and saying they're better.
Kamala, way better. Way better. Way better gimmick.
Who did I watch? I watched a match today when I was thinking about when I was preparing to go out there, I guess. Who was that one guy? He was tiny, big guy, big black guy. I can't remember what they called him, though.
Oh, Zeus.
Zeus.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he was not a good wrestler at all.
No, he was
good
terrible.
Point, John Drake. Good point.
John
the
Drake
Brooklyn Brawler smokes Hogan. Yes.
John Drake has zero good. I'm about to block him from the show.
The Brooklyn Brawler.
That's nonsense.
Who was the other guy that was like 300 before he won a match? Like Leibowitz or something. What was his?
Let me guess. The Honky Tonk Man was better than Hogan. Yeah. Okay.
All-time longest reign up until recently of the Intercontinental Belt. Even beat Hogan in that category.
Ridiculous.
He had a better record than Hogan as an Intercontinental Champion.
Nonsense.
Barry Horowitz. Thank you. Thank you, John.
And then, on top of that, Hogan's in the best Rocky movie of all time, too.
So you take Rocky 3 over Rocky 1?
Absolutely. Any day of the week.
Really?
Any day of the week.
I would take it over Rocky 2. I love that movie. It's definitely better than 4. It's definitely better than anything after 3.
Anything after 4 blows nuts.
Yeah, most of them are pretty bad.
I have to go, if I'm going Rocky movies, I go 3, 1 because of Hulk Hogan, 2 because I thought it was
I like Mr. T as well. Mr. T did a really good job in that movie.
And then I would go 2 because he actually wins. 1 I thought was a waste of my time.
Oh, no way. 1 was way better. 2 was
1 better. He loses.
Yeah, but that was kind of the point. Is he didn't lose.
He lost.
He achieved what he had gone for to be that close, and he got ripped off in the loss.
He was a loser at the end of the movie.
Yeah, just like Hulk Hogan now. Loser.
Yeah. Loser? Yeah, go to Giant Eagle and see what a loser he is.
All right, just saying that as well. He's doing a fucking meet and greet at a Giant Eagle.
Because he's promoting a beer, real American beer.
What, there's no bar? There's no bar that wants to sell this beer?
Oh, he's going to be at plenty of bars. He's going to be the Thirsty Cowboy tonight in Medina from 5
o'clock. Oh, wow, the Thirsty Cowboy. Holy shit.
He's going to be at a bar in Kent tomorrow night.
Oh, my God.
And where's Roman Reigns going to be? Where's his... What's he got?
Roman Reigns doesn't need to do that. He doesn't need to hawk beer. He makes $15 million a year.
Pussy. What, Roman Reigns overcame cancer and I'm supposed to be impressed?
Hey, I'm not impressed by that. He's still got to perform in the ring.
Written?
He's still got to perform in the ring. I don't give a shit about his leukemia or cancer or whatever it was. Who cares? Stop being a pussy with your fucking diseases and get in the ring. But he did.
Who's he talking about here?
Oh, what's that kid's name? One-legged.
There was a one-legged wrestler?
There was. What is his? Zach Gowen.
I have no idea who you're talking about.
Zach Gowen, he wrestled. He had a prosthetic leg, but that was always part of the gimmick, is he'd get in the ring with the 2 legs, and somebody would yank off the prosthetic leg and beat him with it, and then he'd fight him with 1 leg.
Look,
you're not familiar with Zach Gowen? He should be your hero.
Familiar with the.
You should get a Zach Gowen tattoo.
I grew up in the era of Hulk Hogan, and I am a fan. I was one of the Hulkamaniac kids running around like an asshole, and I enjoy that. I met him as a child. Ooh. I grew up with him. I met him as an adult, and I am still a fan, and I always will be.
But you couldn't cry today when you could have used it to meet him.
I know. I should have.
You should have squeezed out some tears.
Should have tried harder.
You could have just walked up and said, if I would have just taken my vitamins and said my prayers like the Hulkster told me, I'd still have my leg. Please let him meet me before I fall.
Now you're just making a mockery of me and my hero.
No, I'm saying you should have used it.
I am thoroughly disappointed with the way the show started out.
You're looking at it as a negative. I'm saying you have a gift. You have a gift that'll get you up to the front of the line every time.
Well, it didn't work today.
You didn't try to today.
What am I going to do?
I just told you got to squeeze out some tears. You got to be like, the only reason and you got to do you got to do that. You got to suck on your lip a little bit. You got to give them the stop. So you got to be the only reason that I ever lived through this heart-wrenching experience was because I wanted to meet the Hulkster one time.
If I left now, I could get to the Thirsty Cowboy by 5 and try to meet him there.
Well, you should.
No, I shouldn't.
Go ahead. I'll do the interview in 10 minutes, and by that time you can be there and you can go live with your phone.
I have a responsibility to this program, and I'm going to be here. Nor do I want to go sit in another line, man.
Well, that's really what it comes down to.
I mean, like, I sat there today, like, just standing there like a dick, and it's like a long-ass line, and, like, again, I would love to meet him, but I would have been trapped on those stairs, not been able to get down or out to be able to make it home for the show by the time I got even halfway there.
Right.
And that would have sucked. Who's John's hero? I want to know that. Who's John's hero so I can make fun of him?
In wrestling?
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest. I don't know. He likes...
Do you have a hero that you had?
Of wrestling? Dude, I was always big Mach guy, big Jake guy. Pretty much those two.
There was a picture of my dad with the snake around him with Jake the Snake.
See, I always liked Jake. I liked Jake because he didn't yell.
Macho Man called our house one day because my dad was going to do an interview with him.
Oh, nice.
And I picked up the phone, and he talked just like he does.
Oh, yeah. Is this Seth? I'd like to speak to your father. Is Gene there? Mean Gene.
These guys were weird like that.
Is Mean Gene Williams there for me? Oh, yeah. It's the host.
Right. See, now I know that John is just a douche.
What's wrong with Stone Cold? I like Stone Cold.
I like Stone Cold. I don't think he's better than Hulk Hogan.
Oh, now stop it.
Ultimate Warrior? You got to be fucking kidding me, right?
Yeah,
like
I'm not a big Warrior guy either. All Warrior did, his big move was shaking the fucking ropes.
Great. He was built and had long hair and stuff like that, but he was a douche. He was a complete total douche. The guy went on talk shows and was a douche. I mean, he was just an idiot.
The problem I have with Hulk Hogan is he's a one-trick pony in the ring, and he's a one-trick pony on the mic as well. I mean, it's a gimmick now. Let me tell you something, brother. Everybody does that because it's so fucking ridiculous.
No, everybody does that because it's become...
Because it's ridiculous.
It's the pop sensation that he is.
It's because it's part of his shtick now.
No, because he became a pop culture icon.
It's no different and no more intelligent than John Cena waving his hand in front of his face. Equally stupid.
Do you think that he is the face of WWE, WWF wrestling as far as pop icons go?
All time?
Yes.
No.
Who would you
Definitely
put ahead
The
of
Rock. Definitely The Rock.
You put Rock. The only reason I would say The Rock is not because of his wrestling. I put The Rock ahead of Hulk Hogan because of his acting.
The Rock The Rock was massive.
I know The Rock was massive, but I wouldn't put him above Hulk Hogan as far as popularity.
I would. The Rock never had to hang on with any group or anything. The Rock was always his own deal. He outgrew the only group he was ever in. The Nation of Domination. He was so talented that they couldn't keep him in that group, that they had to splinter him off. Hulk, they threw Hulk in there with the NWO, and he was a drain on the NWO. The NWO was so good until Hulk joined it. And then once Hulk joined it and they announced it, within 6 months it was terrible. Within 6 months there's 43 guys in this thing, and there's different factions of it, and Hulk is trying to convert the red to the white, and again, do I think he's an icon in wrestling? Of course he is. I mean, I know I'm busting your chops a little bit, but he's a solid number 2, number 3. At one point, he was definitely the biggest name. He's definitely the biggest name from the time that the wrestling wasn't huge to leading it to be huge. He's the number 1, but all time, I would say popularity-wise, both Stone Cold and The Rock are bigger. And maybe The Undertaker as well. Don't sleep on The Undertaker either. That dude is massively popular.
Okay.
He's still in the top 5. I'm not saying he's not.
I will still say, though, that if it wasn't for... Because I can't think of anybody back then, and I disagree with you on putting Macho Man in that position. I don't think the WWF or WWE would have been what it was back then if it wasn't for Hulk Hogan.
Well, Mach didn't come in until later.
I can't think of another star that you could have put up there like that.
Piper, maybe? If they would have given Piper the push. They didn't give him the push. They always kept him as the number 2. Piper was Hogan's biggest rival for years.
I know. I saw them wrestle when I lived in Miami.
Me too. Piper could have been, because he was arrogant, but at the same time relatable. Hulk wasn't relatable. Hulk was this mystic god, like, okay, he's good for the kids, and he was as good for the kids as he was for the adults. That's why Hulk was the guy. That's why the NWO was as big as it was, because nobody could picture Hulk had spent 20 years being take your vitamins and say your prayers. All of a sudden, he was an asshole.
Okay, and again, but you're going to sit here and put The Undertaker up there. Undertaker also had many variations of himself.
I agree.
I thought were kind of cheesy and stupid.
I thought the main gimmick of The Undertaker was cheesy and stupid once they started letting him talk. When he didn't say anything and Paul Bearer was the guy and Paul Bearer did all the talking for him and he just came in and fucked people up, I was all about The Undertaker. But when he became the badass Undertaker, that wasn't The Undertaker anymore. That was just some biker. That wasn't a good gimmick.
Look, as much as I enjoyed watching The Rock, I can't believe we're doing a fucking wrestling show.
Whatever.
I can't. As much as I enjoyed watching The Rock and Stone Cold,
yeah,
a lot of that became more of a comedy routine than it was a wrestling thing.
But that was part of the attitude era.
I mean, I literally went to the whatever it was called back then, Gun Arena, Rock and Roll, whatever, and I saw them sing Margaritaville or some shit in the middle of the ring with a piano. And I mean,
Well, it was different.
Okay, different.
Well, Hulk Hogan, don't put Hulk like he never did that. He came out numerous times with his dumb guitar that he wasn't really playing.
Not a fan.
I mean, Hulk and a Honky Tonk Man are pretty close talent-wise.
Get the fuck out of here.
They are. They both have like 2 moves. The Hulkster had the leg drop, and the Honky Tonk Man had the shake, rattle, and roll. But that's about it. Name 3 wrestling moves that Hulk Hogan did.
Did you have the Hulk wrestling buddy? Of course I did.
Hulk Hogan had the leg drop. Name 2 more.
I can't.
You can't name 2 more moves because he didn't have 2 more.
I have on my desk the Hulk Hogan pin. And then behind my Coke bottles, I have the Hulk Hogan Funko Pop. I'm wearing underneath this sweatshirt my Hulk Hogan shirt, one of many that I have.
Well, I'm not trying to tell you not to be a fan. I'm just saying.
It seems like you guys are. It seems like you guys are making
No,
fun.
we're not. Go ahead, be a fan. If you want to be a fan of subpar wrestlers, go ahead.
Subpar wrestlers.
Go
The
ahead.
greatest entertainer in the history of sports entertainment.
Absolutely untrue statement there, but go ahead.
Without a doubt.
Okay, as bad as the movies are, whatever in Paradise or anything from The Rock. Was it Hulkster in Paradise or whatever? I forget
Okay,
that
but
movie was called.
movies were made different back then.
Okay, but Hulk's never been able to capitalize past the ring.
He's a wrestler.
The Rock is one of the biggest movie stars in the world.
The Rock is a pussy too.
I'll take
He
The
wouldn't
Rock.
be anything without Kevin Hart in those Jumanji movies.
I don't like his movies, personally. I don't think either one of them has ever done. Honestly, I don't know that any wrestler ever has made a good movie.
I'm trying to think. Piper. I like Piper. Piper's movie. They
What
Live.
was that? Oh,
They
no.
Live.
Nah,
You didn't like that movie?
Nah.
Come on. Great movie.
Nah, not for me.
Trying to think of another.
I'm trying to think of any movie. You got the Miz and the Marine or whatever, the Marine 6 or what.
I know he's like a Cleveland guy, and I was kind of giving him a little bit of shit for saying but he's kind of weird. I don't really get into his
The
shtick
Miz?
that much.
The Miz is as soft as a pillow.
It seems
But
like
good for
they
him.
tried
He's
to
hung
give him-
around forever.
But they've kind of kept him around though. I don't know why.
Because he's a good worker. He doesn't get hurt.
Yeah.
He doesn't hurt anybody. He's okay to be a heel. He's fine with heel heat. He's fine with face heat. I'll give the Miz this. He's married to one of the top 3 all-time hottest women in wrestling, in Maurice. Good Lord.
I don't know who that is.
You don't know who Maurice is?
No.
Dude, his wife is another level hot.
Like the only reason I watched Macho Man is because I Miss Elizabeth was smoking.
Let me find a good Maurice picture here.
I miss the old WWF days.
I do too. I
Dean Okerlund, man. You know, that was good shit back then.
I even liked. I was a bigger fan of those smaller guys though than I was the bigger guys. Like I was a big fan of, I don't know, the Repo Man and shit like Duke the Dumpster Drozy.
I was watching not that long ago. Like I was for whatever reason just kind of scrolling through some of the old wrestling things. I saw a Royal Rumble with the Repo Man jumped in. Oh, hello.
That's Maurice. That's the Miz's wife.
Well, how you doing there, Maurice?
Yeah, she's a freaking stunner.
There were a lot of
I will
people
say
watching.
I enjoyed their TV show to no end. Miz and Mrs. That was a good show.
She's all right.
All right.
Well, you know,
She is a
if you have a thing for
9.8.
like tall, blonde, big boob women, she's okay.
Yeah. If you got a thing for perfect chicks, yeah, she's all right.
What time is our guest?
Should be, but he ain't here yet, so hopefully he didn't.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, he did not.
How
There
about
he
that?
is. Maybe. There he is. Well, why don't we do this? Since he's in the waiting room, let's Let's change gears from wrestling and go to music.
Thank God.
Of course, everybody knows Drowning Pool, and Ryan McCombs is the lead singer of Drowning Pool. So let's play some Drowning Pool, and we'll come back with Ryan, and we'll talk about the No Authority tour and Drowning Pool and maybe SOiL and blah, blah, blah. We'll talk about everything. So let's play a little Drowning Pool. We'll be right back in a minute. It is the Seth Williams Show.
Yes, you turning away, you turn so young. It's never enough, it's always too much for what you never say, what you never go and say. You're so young, it's never enough, it's always too much for what you never say, never do, never say. Is it me that you see, changing what you think you need? All I can say is I'll always trade me for you. Is it my heart I break, hard to give what you won't take? If you did, would you throw it away? We're so young, it's never enough.
And we are back here on the Seth Williams Show. That was Drowning Pool, of course. They are going on tour, the No Authority tour, with A Killer Confession, Above Snakes, and the Failsafe, Safe, and Seth. Look who it is.
What's
Ryan
going on?
McCombs. Hey,
How are
Ryan.
you, my friend?
Oh, we have no sound, my friend. We do not hear you. Damn it. We see you. Don't hear you. Maybe go out and come back in? Ryan, there you go.
Maybe we could just ask questions and nod.
Try reconnecting, Ryan. Click out and then come back in. Or I'll kick you out. How's that? Oh, I guess I don't know. Well, we're going to try and get this. We want to try and get this. Don't you love live radio? Live
Of
TV?
course. Anything that can go wrong.
It will. Of course it will.
But see, I never saw anything go wrong in a Hulk Hogan match. I saw him perform masterfully. And even when he had to pick up Andre the Giant and slam him to the mat, he did it and knew exactly what he was doing. Unlike Roman Reigns, who I saw fuck up at least 5 matches.
Hey, I'm not a huge Roman Reigns guy either. Again, I told you, I'm definitely rock stone cold guy.
And for John Drake, I'll reiterate, the Browns have been picked last to finish last in the division. So it looks like you're going to be eating some crickets while I'm enjoying watching.
Maybe. I'm hoping for 9 wins at this point. I want to see you both munching down a box of crickets.
I was thinking about this bet, and I was thinking how unfair it actually is.
It's perfectly fair to me because I don't have to participate.
But it's not fair because, like, if you win, say they win 11 games, he doesn't have to eat.
No, because he picked 10.
But if they win 5, then I have to eat.
Yeah, because you picked 4.
Well, that doesn't make any sense.
Sure it does. You think they're going to be bad, so the less wins would be better for you. If they win no games, you don't have to eat.
But I understand that. But I mean, if I'm closer to the win total,
No.
years,
There's no
I should-
one winner. If they win more than 4, you lose. If they win less than 11, less than 10, he loses. Let's try again.
all right.
Can we hear you now? Maybe. I don't know. You can't hear us either? Damn it.
It sucks.
Well, this is not going well. Damn it.
Don't you hate that?
I do. I don't know what happens. It seems so easy, doesn't it? You click with a
Yeah.
link, it works, you're in.
So I mean, to switch off the wrestling real quick, I'll get on to what else I talked about in the little promo for. Let's see.
Hello, 1, 2. Hey, Ryan.
I can't hear you guys now.
We hear you.
We hear you. Of course you can't hear us, but we hear you. Well, huh. I don't know what to do here.
Well, you can't tell them because you can't hear us anyways.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Well, while he's messing around here with that, let's drive forward a little bit. Let's see.
I'm gonna hang out with my Hulk Hogan pin and Funko Pop. So I mean, maybe you can hear us at some point, but so
if you can hear us, Ryan, give us a thumbs up.
So over the weekend, I was on the dreaded Facebook again.
Yes.
And actually, I saw some good stuff and some bad stuff.
Right.
So I saw on a post from Cleveland.com, they were talking about the Jimmy Malone firing.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of it turned into ugliness, them calling TAM racist and them calling TAM right-wing extremists and stuff like that, and that's why they got rid of him. And, I hate to tell these dumb fucks that were posting that TAM is a bunch of right-wing extremists, and that's why they fired Jimmy Malone. The management there is so far from being right-wing MAGA extremists that you have no idea what the hell you're talking about. And this is why social media is dangerous, because these dumb bastards think that they know everything. They go online, they start posting hate, and then other people believe it. So you have hundreds of comments on there talking about Jimmy Malone and blah, 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 and right-wing, MAGA, extreme, TAM, iHeart. All they do is, right-wing propaganda, this, that, and the other thing. And no, the management there is so far from being anything right-wing. They're like a NASCAR track, constantly turning left. So don't sit here and post stuff when you know nothing.
Right.
If you don't know, don't post it. Right? And then so I got angry with that. But there was some nice stuff on there. Tim posted on there something about me, and since they fired me, he doesn't listen anymore, blah, 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 and Triv and all that kind of stuff. And it turned into a lot of likes and a nice long thread of people saying very nice things about me, which I really, truly appreciate. And they were, nice things about Triv. And, one guy said he now listens to Bob France because, I'm there. He said he hopes to hear more of me on Bob France. After today, not so sure. But then there were then all of a sudden, how does a post about Jimmy Malone turn into Triv sucks? At which point I lost my mind a little bit because, look, you want to make fun of me? Go ahead. I'm here to fight back. Triv's no longer here. The man passed away, for God's sake. If you don't like what he had to say, then just leave it alone. But what's the point in poking a bear that is no longer here to defend itself?
Well, that's why they do it.
Because they're pussies, and they don't want to, they feel like they can go ahead and do it. Well, I fought back a little bit. I mean, some guys were saying that you got paid to do Coach for Kids events by big donors and stuff, which is just not true.
Right.
I mean, he did it out of the kindness of his heart. He did because he cared about that charity and the people that work for that charity.
But you know that, so you don't need to defend him.
I know you don't need to
defend anything.
But when somebody is, I guess, soiling his name, I feel the need to stand up for him a little bit. God knows there ain't a whole lot of people out there that are going to do it. And, so I did. And it pissed some people off. I don't care. Fuck yourselves. And then I saw another guy. I mean, I could say names, right? Because he posted on Facebook, right?
Go ahead.
Joe Cleon, who used to be a friend of mine, I guess, but I went to his little kitty adventure that he has where he's saving cats. I think that's great, and it was fine. And I thought that we were somewhat friendly. And again, I can agree to disagree with people. We can argue back and forth on on Facebook or social media, and I'm fine with that. He posted a really nasty thing about Trump. Nasty. And again, some of it is just factless, baseless. I mean, it's just stupid, just out of hate. And so my only comment was, hey, how could you live your life with that much hate? I can't live my life that way. I don't like Kamala Harris. I don't like Joe Biden. Do I think they're going to ruin the country? I do. But do I hate them to the point of just downright anger and vitriol? No, I don't. Because I don't want to live my life like that. I can't hold hate in my heart like that.
Well, let's see if this works. Can you hear us, Ryan? No, you cannot. Damn it. Damn it.
This is unbelievable.
I know, this is strange. It's crazy. Well, I don't know what to do here. I guess we'll have to just reschedule it. I guess we're going to have to. Anyway, go ahead.
So Joe decided to, after some political back and forth, again, I try not to go personal. I mean, I think at one point I said something to the effect of, go play with your cats and let the real men handle patriotism.
Right.
And I was accused of supporting transphobia, homophobia, and racism. Now, if you're going to accuse me of anything, you're going to accuse me of being fat. I mean, I think it's pretty out there that I'm overweight. You want to accuse me of having a bad podcast or not a lot of people listen? Go ahead. I mean, that's, it is what it is. I like my show. I like the show that we do. I enjoy, but I mean, there are things that you can accuse me of that you may have a legitimate, I guess, point.
Okay.
But when it comes to me being a transphobe, homophobe, or racist, I have done nothing or said nothing to lead you to believe that I am or that I support any such thing. Donald Trump, oh, by the way, has not either. In fact, it's been the opposite.
Of that. You're never gonna convince anybody.
Well, I know that, and I wasn't trying to convince him. But once you want to make it personal with me and call me those kind of names, then you can go fuck yourself, Joe. Continue taking your pretty little pictures of your rock stars that you idolize. Go ahead. I wasn't going to call you for tickets anyway, so I don't give a fuck anymore. I already have 2 cats, so I don't need to adopt anymore. So go play with your little kitties and go play with your little camera and have a great life. I tried to be your friend, and I tried to have a little political discourse with you without you accusing me of being a supporter of transphobia, homophobia, and racism. And that kind of shit just irritates the fuck out of me.
I can tell.
I mean, if you want to have a discussion about whether you think Donald Trump or Kamala Harris will make for a good president, then go ahead.
Yeah, but
I will tell you that I don't think Kamala Harris will make a good president or Tim Walz will make a good vice president because they're communists.
Yeah,
and
but
I can give you a reason why.
But you assume that people want to have a discussion. I don't think people do. Certainly, people that believe left-leaning people do not want to have a discussion.
He just wanted to be a dick, is what you're saying.
May have. Maybe he just... Dude, I have so many friends that are left-leaning, and good Lord, if you say anything that doesn't meet their agenda, they want to jump on you and attack. And the easiest way to shut it down is just by being, okay, whatever, who gives a shit? By Joe's definition, maybe you are a transphobic. Maybe you are a racist. Who gives a shit? What does Joe Cleon mean to your life? Nothing. So then why care?
Because I genuinely like that guy. I thought he did some nice things for the community. And
okay, and why can't you still?
I actually enjoy the fact that he does take those pictures. I think he's good at what he does.
And I'm
not going to sit there and have these insults hurled at me or tell me, you're accusing me of something that I'm not. And I'm not going to put up with that bullshit. I'm just not.
See, and again, it's difference in personality. I get thrown everything at me all the time. I just don't care. Blips on my screen mean nothing to me. They just don't. I know what I am. I know what I'm not. I know I don't need somebody else's justification of, man, you're a good guy, Chris. You're great. I don't need that. I got accused over the weekend of profiteering over Jack Russell's death. I got several emails on this because I dared to say that I heard a rumor that he died 8 days before he did, and that they kept it quiet. I dared to say that, and I got a bunch of messages and emails and comments and whatever. And you know what? Fine. I'm profiting off it. I don't give a shit. Who the fuck are you to mean anything to me? I don't care. You know, I don't give anybody this kind of energy. That's really what I don't. I just don't give anybody this kind of energy. They're not worth the energy.
Hell yeah, Brian. That I am. That I'll take it. It's a heart. I shouldn't give it too much thought and energy because it's just annoying though.
Yeah, but and it makes you more cranky.
Yeah, it ruined like half my day yesterday.
And that's what I'm saying. Let's be honest about Joe. And Joe's my friend. All disclosure here. Joe is my friend. I'd imagine after this show, Joe will still be my friend. Joe is my friend. If I didn't know him, he's not really your friend as much as he's an acquaintance of yours.
Of course. Yes.
Up until these comments were hurled, what did Joe Cleon matter to your life? Nothing. He didn't. Yeah. But yet you're giving somebody that ultimately does not matter to your life that kind of energy.
Look, I'm a patriot in my eyes to this country, and I want to see this country succeed. And so I may have a different opinion than Joe because he leans a little bit more left. But if we can have a civil discussion about what I believe and what he believes, rather than me being told that I'm a racist, a homophobe, a transphobe, and everything else,
right?
Then I can have a discussion, a back and forth. But when you are going to call me names like that, you can go fuck yourself and take your left-leaning Kamala Harris and stick her up your fucking ass.
Language.
Right,
Jesus,
sorry.
That's very
mean.
yes,
we have a guest.
I don't know if we do. Ryan, if you can hear us, give me a thumbs up on the screen. He cannot hear us. He cannot hear us. He can't hear us. Well,
he didn't hear that. So.
Yeah, well, that's good.
I don't know which way he leans.
He leans definitely to the right side, which is one of the reasons I want to have him on, because he's one of us, not one of them.
I just get. I know that I shouldn't let it bother me because I even texted you afterwards, and they were like, we're like, okay, and it's like,
that's it. I don't give, dude.
It's just look. I don't need to be friends with everybody. I don't. No. I don't need to agree with everybody. I really don't. But what I do want is for people to be able to discuss things without calling each other names.
But you can't.
Why?
Because the world is an echo chamber now. Social media has made it an echo chamber. I'm telling you, honestly, you are never going to be able to have a civil... You might find one liberal person out of 100 that you can have a civil discussion with. But... let's be honest. Do you want to go through the other 99 pricks to get to the one?
No.
So then why do it? Then why bother?
I don't know. I don't know why. Because I see it, and then I feel the need to react to it. And what sucked is I was literally like, I went to, my daughter had her wisdom teeth pulled on Friday.
Mm-hmm. Ouch.
And so she's been, and like they weren't even popping out yet. Like, so they had to like literally surgically remove these things from her face. And so she hasn't been in the best of moods. And so I kind of wanted to, take her out, go to the movies and,
sure.
And, just let her enjoy the day a little bit. And so we went to see the new Alien movie, which, oh, by the way, was really, really good.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah. I was not a fan of the last 12 that they put out, but this one.
Yeah, Prometheus and all that. Those were not very good.
Yeah, but this one is actually really, really entertaining. A lot of callbacks to the original, first two.
Yeah, it looks good.
So it was fun. But literally, I missed all the previews because I'm sitting there fucking texting on Facebook with Joe Cleon. And finally just calling him a fool and hanging up my phone. And I missed every preview, the credits start, and then the first 10 minutes of the movie, I can't think of anything else other than, oh my God, that son of a bitch. And I was going crazy. And I gotta stop letting it bother me.
You gotta just leave it alone. Dude, you can't worry about it, man. You can't. I mean, I know you have family that does not agree with you. I do too. You know, my niece, I love my niece to death, but yet she has me blocked on Facebook, and I don't care. You know, and literally when we have like Thanksgiving dinners and stuff like that, my mom literally calls me and her ahead of it to lay out the rules that there won't be any political discussion, or she doesn't want us to come over because we can't get along politically. And that's fine. You know, and that's family. That's literally blood family that I would absolutely kill over. But dude, random people, and again, to you, Joe is a random person. Who gives a shit? It's just a random voice that doesn't agree with you and cannot see what you think. Ryan, if you can hear us, give us a thumbs up on the screen. Oh, you can hear us. Here we go. Well, then let's bring him right to the stage. There he is, finally. Ryan, how are you, man?
Man, that was such a great intro and everything. We turned so cold, and modern technology just took a dump on it.
Well, to be honest with you, I'm glad you didn't hear anything that we talked about afterwards, because I was kind of going on a rant about the political situation in our country at this point. So,
yeah,
it was something. So.
You know what? Since I've lived in England now for 7 years, and nothing twists my nipples more than somebody from that is not from the United States talking to me as if they know about United States politics.
Sure.
So that is a sensitive subject for me. So yeah, it probably is a good thing that I didn't hear that, or else we'd go left field for 3 hours.
Real quick though, I kind of have an idea which way you lean, but is it true that in that part of the world they're going pretty woke over there?
No, not at all. I'd say that it's weird because I've spent a lot of time back in the States the last year, and I've come to the opinion from what I've seen on the media over there and everything that they really want to paint the world in a certain picture, and then when you're actually living over here, you realize just how off their picture, how abstract their picture is that they seem to be painting for everybody else that is there in the States. So it's very strange to be living over here, being so close to Europe, just a stone's throw away, and being very in touch with everything going on there, and then coming back home to the States, and listening to catching a newscast while I'm sitting in the lobby of of the hotel or something, and just realizing how screwed up the brushes they're using to paint with.
Why do you think they're doing that? Do you think they're doing that to create chaos on a world level so that nobody's, cooperating with anybody?
I don't know. We could go down this rabbit hole on politics, and it's. I really think at the end of the day, I'm not going to act like I'm smart enough to understand it, but I'm sure in some aspect it just had the basic core of it. I think is just trying to maintain control, and that's the bottom line of pretty much anything that any of them do, is just trying to maintain keeping the uninformed, and keeping the ignorant to what's really going on. So I mean, it's all part of the puzzle.
Right on.
You are right about that.
Well, dude, let's transition from politics to something fun. Let's talk music.
Amen. Amen.
But we definitely want to talk about the No Authority tour. That, of course, with The Killer Confession, Above Snakes, The Failsafe, and of course, Drowning Pool. But before we get to that, let's just backtrack a little bit. After, a decade and a half away, roughly, you rejoined Drowning Pool talk a little bit about that. Was it difficult to come back? Did you have fences to mend, or how did you end up coming back?
It was just a weird night, man. It was I started getting text messages one night from Stevie, and if anybody out there knows Stevie, Stevie's like the one true born and raised Texan in the band. CJ and Mike are both New Orleans transplants.
Right.
They both moved to Texas. I mean, they've been there most of their life. They moved there in their high school days and lived in Texas since, but they're originally New Orleans boys. Stevie is the one Texan. So when Stevie messages you or even calls you, there's usually something behind. There's no fluff. He's not one for fluff. He's very straightforward individual. So all of a sudden one night he starts texting me, and it wasn't about football. So I knew something was up.
Right.
I knew, because since myself and the band parted ways, the only time Stevie and I have communicated is when it has something to do with football. So one night he's blowing me up, and finally about an hour into it, I was just like, dude, are you okay? Like, everything all right? And he's like, yeah, man, everything's great. And then there was a pause, and he's like, well, actually,
Right.
he goes, we were wondering if you'd be interested in come back and doing some like reunion shows. And I was like, without missing a beat, I was like, yes, man, absolutely, that'd be awesome. And then we chatted back and forth just a little bit longer, and he said that the manager they had at the time, he's like, he'll be in contact with you, man. We'll work it all out and get it all figured out. And about 24, 48 hours later, I got a message or got a phone call from their manager at the time, and he was just like, yeah, no reunion shows. You're just back in. We got shows coming up. We got to figure out how to get you into Texas so you can get some rehearsals in and get these shows
Right.
ready to go. So, so it was just, it was a no-brainer. We laugh about it now because back, whatever it was, 12 years ago, the last phone call we had together was, man, everybody's a little burnt out. You think we should take a break? And it was like, yeah, we probably should take a break. We didn't think it was going to be 12 years long,
Right. Well, let me ask you this, and we've had Tim from your other band on, and Tim's
Yeah.
a personal friend of mine as well, so certainly know him. How do you approach, well, I'm going to do this as well, and not have them think, well, you're taking away from SOiL to do this?
At the time, we're just coming out of, we're not just coming out of COVID. We've been out of COVID for a while, and SOiL really hadn't started moving yet.
Okay.
It was still, there was still a lot of, I think a lot of, as there was with a lot of the different entities within the music industry at the time, because if you remember, like when COVID did finally start to dissipate, the industry came back, and then all of a sudden it had to get silent again, and it came back. So I think there were certain entities, certain factions within the industry that didn't give a shit anymore, and they were just, let's just move forward. As soon as every time the green light would shine, they just ran for it. But there was also those, though, that after the green light shone and the red light followed so quickly, that was very hesitant to move forward. And SOiL was we weren't moving forward. So when the opportunity came to do this, it was kind of a no-brainer on my part, because I just wanted to get back to work. And not just that, but also to get back with Stevie, Mike, and CJ, and to be doing this music, to be able to do this music that I wrote 12 years, that was so much a part of me.
Right.
So being able to do that again. Now, I absolutely was respectful of the situation, respectful for everybody's opinion, feelings, I should say. So, I mean, I did do what I feel like was the right thing, which is I brought it to Tim. I talked to Tim on the phone about it. I was like, hey, this opportunities came about, and Tim was cool, very cool about it. Didn't give me no grief or nothing. He was like, well,
Right.
do you want to do it? And I was like, well, yeah. He goes, well, didn't do it, man. He goes, neither one of the bands really are doing like back in the day when we spent 12 months, we spent 11 and a half months out of the year on the road. Neither band has that kind of schedule anymore, so let's do it. I didn't realize, though, that once I gave the green light to everything, all of a sudden both bands are going to wake up and start touring like mad. So the past year's been crazy, but no, to answer your question, yeah. I did what I felt was the right thing and talked to Tim about it. But we're all grown ups. So everybody's going to do what they need to do.
Right.
How has the industry changed? I mean, I'm looking at Spotify, and Bodies has 512 million plays, and I mean, you should get $1 for every play. I mean, you guys can't sell CDs the way that you used to. I mean, don't you want to punch Spotify in the face? I mean, how does that work?
Dude, the way it works is that back in the day, back in the day when Spotify and all these things came about, you had record labels making deals with them because at the end, and not whatever. There's nobody to throw underneath the bus anymore. But the deals were made to the fact that the label was getting their cut. The entity, whether it was Spotify, whether whoever it was getting their cut, and then the guys actually making the music was sitting here, back in the back corner, hoping to God somebody threw them a piece of gristle or something to chew on. And those were when the days those were when those deals were made, and we're still underneath that same. We're still underneath those same numbers. We're still underneath the same deals. I mean, it's messed up that it is that the artist is the last one to see any the scraps from the table, and it's been that way from day one with all this online stuff. And I'm not bitching about it. The social media is as evil as I think it is in the grand scope of things. It has been a great tool for bands to be able to be in contact with the people out there to allow us to do what we do. But at the same time, when you're looking at those Spotify's and you're looking at those things out there, God bless their hearts. They ain't done the artists any favors on the backside of things.
No, they've done just the opposite. And I'll disagree with you here. I think they've made it to where you guys' work doesn't have value to most people because the expectation now, they don't look at you having an idea at 3 a.m. and writing it down or pulling out an acoustic guitar and recording it on your phone and fleshing it out for 8 months with other songs as art anymore. They just look at it as, well, that's that free shit. I can go to YouTube and I can get it. And I think it has devalued what you guys do to where we've had several musicians come on and say they feel like they're t-shirt salesmen now instead of artists, because all you're doing more now is looking for ways to get people to shows to buy shirts to keep you alive versus people really connecting with music. They don't connect to music anymore.
This started back when my brain just went numb, but just went blank. But when Napster, when Metallica tried to take a stand on that, and I remember doing back then they had all those like online media sessions or not media, but online like fan things where they would bring one of us on some platform and they'd allow fans to come on and ask us questions and stuff like that. And somebody came on one time and he caught my attention because he kept saying a couple pointed things, and I started really paying attention to what he was typing out to me. And he didn't understand what the issue was with Napster at the time. And I'm saying this just using that as a reference because really that was just kind of the beginning. That was like a taste of what was to come type thing. 'Cause, but my point being is he didn't understand why it was wrong and what it was doing. And finally I asked him, I said, well, where are you from? And he said, Michigan. I said, what's your dad do for a living? His dad was in the automotive business somewhere, factory wise. And I said, so if your dad, if everybody in the whole world can go to your dad's factory, wherever your dad works and buy, and I said, and can buy that widget, or in his case, that car, buy that widget that he is producing and not pay a dime for it.
Yeah.
Not pay his employer anything for it. How long is your dad's employer going to be able to employ him if he's not making any money off the widget that your dad is building? I said, and he was like, I said, the songs are our widgets.
Yeah.
The songs are our widgets. If you're not paying for the widget anymore, our employer, the label, can't pay us anymore. And finally it sank in, but it was like this process, and that was 20 years ago, and it's only gotten worse since then.
Well, the worst part about it, Ryan, is that the industry castigated fans like no other. I'm sure you remember all the lawsuits that they were suing people that were downloading on Napster and downloading this catalog and that, and $750,000 a song and all these crazy numbers. But what did they do? Then they built their whole model around it. The industry is now built around Napster. Here, you guys finish a record today, it's up later today on YouTube and Apple Music and Spotify and Tidal. And, they literally stole the model that they said was bad so that they could profit from it. It really is an ugly, just swathed into a business that used to run so smoothly.
It's weird, Ben, because I think the music industry always felt so safe because no matter what the state of the economy was in throughout history, the entertainment business has always been like recession proof.
Yeah.
Everybody always was able to scrounge a few bucks to go see a movie or to get away from reality and entertain themselves in some way. But then all of a sudden, so I think even when the whole Napster thing started happening and when all that started happening, I think the industry was just like, we'll always be around. We've always been around. We'll always be around. We'll be fine. And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, we went from like 30 major labels to 2.
Right.
And it's just, first there was the consolidation, then all of a sudden, next thing you know, we're down to just a couple of the big boys left anymore. So it's you're absolutely right though. I mean, they use these internet platforms that are out there, but the artists themselves, that hasn't, the whole setup that was happening back then hasn't changed at all for the artists. So the artist is still sitting, like I said, hoping that somebody throws them a piece of gristle or something.
Right.
So,
see, now another question for you. Like, I'm happy that bands like Drowning Pool, SOiL are back doing their thing, because personally, I think the state of rock music today is kind of taking a step back from what it was in the 2000s, like early 2000s and stuff like that. What do you think about rock music today?
there was a point in time, I don't mean for the big dramatic pause, right? But I've had the change of heart. There was a point up to maybe a year and a half ago that if you would have asked me the same question, I would have been negative Nelly about the whole thing. And it all came from like my basis of thought. I could always sum up the best from my little story, and I know I keep telling stories, but talking to a friend of mine on XM radio there and back in the States,
Sure.
and she said something that caught me off guard, and I thought it was funny. And so I messaged her and was making fun of her basically for it. And she was like, she responded to me about, you don't know how hard it really is when you're told to push this band or that band, and you do, and 6 months from now they're not around anymore. Because the money's not there. They're not making the money touring. Like you said, everybody glorified shirt salesmen nowadays. They don't have the name. They don't have the name. They didn't make the name 20 years ago, so they don't have the presence in order to make necessarily those shirt sales that it takes when you're not getting the guarantees at the shows. So those bands come and go very quickly. So there was a point in time, like I said, just maybe as soon as like a year and a half ago, I would have said the music industry scares the shit out of me, especially for new bands, especially for new artists out there, because I don't know how they're going to make it. But I do know after this past year of being able to be like on the Danny Wimmer fests and being then over here in Europe doing like the Wacken over in Germany and Brutal Assault and all these Alcatraz and stuff, the festivals over here.
Sure.
And there's some good new bands out there. So I've got like this rejuvenated hope that they've discovered a way to move beyond just the glorified shirt salesman. They found a way to do it, because I'm seeing the bands out there, and I don't feel like I was seeing them, necessarily that a while back, to where I think we're on an upswing, man. There's some good young talent out there that's just killing it right now.
Right. Is it the perception here, and you know this, the perception is that it's super hot in Europe, it's cold as ice here in the States. Is that how you see it as a musician that, lives there but performs here and there?
You're always going to like metal fans, rock fans. They are some of the loyalist fans that can be, and they've had to be. That's not me. That's not me tooting their horn or nothing. They've had to be because their flavor wasn't what was popular. So to maintain being a metal or rock fan through these years in the past few decades, past couple of decades, man, you had to be true blue because you weren't in the majority. You weren't the flavor of the week. You weren't the popular style of blue jeans that day. So for a long time, so you've had to be that type of fan has been great no matter what country, no matter what region you're talking about, whether you're talking about the
Sure.
States or whether you're talking about the UK or Europe. The one difference though is that the percentage of people in the market that are fans of rock or metal.
Sure.
There's your difference. That's you like if you're in the UK, if you're in England and you ask somebody if they're going to download this year, they look at you like you have two heads because I'm alive, I'm breathing. Of course, I'm going to download
Right.
this year. It's a way of life.
Right.
It's just Motorhead. Lemmy is still you have like there's Jesus Christ and there's Lemmy. There's not really there's not one over the other. They're right there next to each other. That's England. That's the UK for you. Then that's Europe. That's the states have those fans too. I mean, you go to Welcome to Rockville, you go to Sonic Temple, you go to any of those Upheaval, you go to any of that stuff in the states, and you see. I mean, dude, we had a blast this year doing those festivals and stuff, and seeing just how alive and well the rock and metal fans are in the states. So they're as prevalent that soul of the rock metal fan is still alive in both areas really well. It's just the only difference is, like I said, if you talk to a school teacher here and ask them if they're going to up or going to download this year, as the same as you talk to the guy working out on the road, down the street, it's the same thing because it's just a way of life here. It doesn't matter what what your job is in life around here. You're typically a rock metal, a fan.
But see, that's where I think I have an issue, though, is that there are all these festivals. So Sonic Temple may be a great festival and everything else. But I think for a lot of fans, they're waiting for their favorite bands to come to town. Like, I would love to see Drowning Pool come to, the badass bars that we had or clubs that we had downtown Cleveland for the Odeon or whatever it was, rather than me having to travel 3 hours to go see 30 bands. I mean, I think that a lot of these big, huge festivals are taken away from my favorite bands just coming to town and let me go see them.
I hear you. This isn't to be said. This isn't true about every promoter. You can never say the definite 100% whenever you're talking about anything. But I still, what I run into a lot of times on the road, touring wise, I've spent this last year. We have Drowning Pool. We have beaten the piss out of the states, since I rejoined the band, touring wise. We have we need to let the states breathe a little bit because we have just been hitting every nook and cranny we could get. And one of the problems that we keep running into, and we have for years, whether it was SOiL or whether it was Drowning Pool, it didn't matter, is you would play a place. You play the House of Blues in Cleveland, Ohio, and a week later you're seeing a message on Facebook or something where somebody's going, man, when you guys coming back to Ohio? You guys haven't been to Ohio in 2 years or whatever. You're like, dude, we just played Columbus. We played Cincinnati. We played Cleveland. We played we played Dayton, man. We hit all within the last 3 months. But a lot of times your promoters out there, they think promoting a show is putting a few posters up in the club that you're playing in, and that's promoting a show. and it's really they rely so much on the band putting it on their social medias as if people are visiting the band's page every single friggin' day,
Right.
and they rely on that to get the word out there that the band is coming to town, and yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I know personally. Not only are we doing these big festivals, but we're also hitting every stinking club we can.
Sure.
That's awesome.
But I think a lot of times it just goes. People don't even know the show's coming through town or was through town because of just the lack of promotions that are going on and the lack of awareness that's out there to allow people to know that, man, we're coming to town in 3 days.
Right. Are you tired? And the reason I'm asking you specifically, I mean, Jesus, dude, you have been super active lately. I mean, I know SOiL did the tour here, then you did the tour over there with Union Underground. Now, you know, there's drowning pool stuff that you've been doing. You know, you just played Vakken, what, 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago or whatever that was.
Yeah.
I mean, you personally very busy, and then you're getting ready to go back on tour again here for the new leg with No Authority, man. So how are you doing vocally, and are you tired?
My voice keeps amazing the shit out of me. I don't know. I keep waiting. I keep waiting for it to like wave the white flag. But there's been, and I'm doing more shows now. Like back in the day, we did maybe 4 shows in a row tops. Nowadays, we're on average. Every run that I've done with Drowning Pool in this year has had at least a few 6 in a rows on it and stuff. Oof. And we look at each other and we're like, man, we wouldn't have liked this when we were 20 years younger, let alone now.
Right.
But
Right.
we keep getting through it. Yeah, the first tour I did this year was way back, January, like March with Union Underground SOiL, and from there I've had maybe 2 days off here, maybe a week off there, in between a month and a half long cycles. So luckily, my wife has been really understanding, and because I've spent I've spent most of this year on the road. So yeah, I'm feeling it right now. This last tour that we did with over here in Europe, connecting the festivals together and everything, SOiL wise. I was so looking forward to this break because it was the first time that I had more than like just a few days. I actually had 10 days in a row. Right. To be able to go home. So, and then the tour that you're talking about here, the Drowning Pool tour, starts up. So yeah, I'm tired. The voice is tired. It's going to be once this year does wind down and the holiday season comes about, I'm going to be enjoying. My throat's going to be enjoying not yelling so much.
All right, you bummed me out a little bit here, and towards the end, but because you said that you're married, and I'm happy for you. I think that's great. I always wanted to be a rock star but I have no talent, and so that part kind of sucks. But I wanted to be a rock star because not only for the money, which Spotify has taken, but because I want the groupies and the hot chicks hanging out like the bus and all the beers and everything happening, and the ride to the venue and after the shows. Is that who's better as far as groupies go? Is it UK or the States?
Oh, I've always my wife just sat up taller in the chair and she's waiting for the answer on this.
What would the other guys in the band say?
Yeah, what the rest of the guys think?
Well, what I've heard,
yes,
and this is just hearsay.
Yeah,
no, I have no idea. I think, like I said, dude, rock metal fans they're good everywhere.
All right, good answer.
That's a politically correct answer. Honey, put down the iron. Don't throw it at me. Well, dude, we haven't even talked about it yet, so let's talk about No Authority Tour, man. Obviously, you're out with Killer Confession, Above Snakes, and The Fail Safe. Talk about this tour and what you guys are going to be playing, as Drowning Pool.
This is an opportunity for us to kind of take one more stab at some dates in the States here before as the year starts to wind down.
Sure.
And we're looking forward to it. We did a run of dates with Killer Confession right before I did this European run with SOiL. So it'd be good to be back out with Waylon and those guys. And we had Above Snakes is with us with a run that we did with Saliva just a couple of months ago. So it'll be good to see those guys. So just really looking forward to the package and getting to do some dates that we haven't done yet. 'Cause like I said, we've beaten up the states in the past
Sure.
year or so since I've been back in the band, but we haven't had the chance really to get out west yet. We've actually got some dates out in California. So we're actually getting to a few markets that we haven't been to as much as we have been in the states, actually getting to hit some markets that we haven't been to. So looking forward to that. And we've got, I don't know, I mean, the fact that the album, the tour is called No Authority, that if nobody's none the wiser yet, it's all going to make sense soon as to where that's coming from. But there's some new music to throw in the set, and some and that's what's fun too. Also, talking about like new music to throw in the set. It's always fun doing the Drowning Pool runs because there's so much. The band has such a great catalog,
Right.
that we're able to change things up. When you look at the fact that you got the Dave Williams era, it's hard not to separate an era, just because it's kind of easy to.
Sure.
But you got the Dave Williams eras. You got Dave, Jason Jones. You got myself. You got Jason Moreno, and being able to pull. I love the fact that you're naturally going to have fans, Drowning Pool fans, that are fans of Drowning Pool, no matter what the era is. But you're also going to have fans that this era was their favorite, or this era was their favorite, or whatever. And we have the opportunity to pull songs from all those different times, so that people, when they come out to the show, they're hearing something. No matter what their favorite era was, they're hearing
Sure.
something from it, and that's been fun to do, and it's been fun for me to be a part of it, to sit down with these guys and be like, let's do this song, let's toy with that one, and everything like that. It keeps the set fresh for us. It
Sure.
keeps people, like I said, we've been hitting the States a lot lately, so it allows people to come out to multiple shows. There's been people I know that I've spoken to that have seen us 2 or 3 times in the last 9 months, and but the show's different. The show, the songs we're playing are different, so it's fresh, it's new, it's keeping it interested for us and for others. So we're looking forward to it.
Obviously, you have to play, certain songs, Bodies and Sinner, and, those types of songs.
Right.
But for the stuff that's not the Dave Williams era, do you like playing the other stuff, or do you look at it and be like, man, I'd rather play my own stuff that I wrote?
Well, politically correct or not? Yeah, I do enjoy it. I love doing the Dave Williams era stuff because he was a friend.
Sure.
And part of this, going back to 2005, part of me getting with the guys was not only because I love those guys, because Stevie, Mike, and CJ, but it was also my love for Dave.
Sure.
And it was his mom giving me the golden blessing there that finally pushed me over the edge and be like, okay, yeah, I can do this. Okay, we'll do this. So I love the feeling that I get being able to carry those songs to tomorrow. And because to me, keeping those songs going is also keeping Dave's name there. It's
Right.
keeping. So I love that. I love doing songs from that era. But there's also just good, like Step Up and Love and War and Killing Me, and there's great tunes off the Desensitized album. There's One Finger in a it's a different vibe, but there's really cool rockin' tunes from the Jason Moreno era that's fun to wrap my head around. And of course I missed playing the 37 Stitches. I missed playing Enemy. I missed playing Soldiers and Turn So Cold and all that stuff. Feel Like I Do. So it's great to be able to play the songs that we did together, over a decade ago. And Yeah, I like doing it all. It isn't tongue in cheek, and it isn't being politically correct when I say that.
Right.
There is aspects to all of it that I find enjoyment in. If this was me 10 years ago, you'd probably get a different answer.
Okay.
But this is me at the point that I am in my life, and I'm just enjoying. There's something to pull. There's enjoyment to pull out of all of it. Just the fact that we're able to still do it. The fact
Right.
the fact that people are still allowing us to do it. You find joy in that, and then you find joy in just taking little nuggets. And it's really cool to then play those songs out live, and see the reaction and see the response from people that are happy to hear that tune or this tune or whatever, because they weren't so sure they were going to because of the lineup change.
Right on, man. Well, obviously, man, No Authority Tour is hitting the States here, end of this month. Where's the best place we should tell people to go to keep up with you and Drowning Pool and SOiL and all that, and all your other ventures?
Well, we've got drowningpool.com, but we've also, everybody's on the old Book of Faces, so the official Drowning Pool site, or my own official Ryan McCombs official page. We stay on. We're very active on that stuff. You could always be more so active, but all the information for tours and everything is all right there. Cool. The bands in town, the Drowning Pool information's all there. Yeah, there's a lot of different methods that you can jump on and see what we're up to.
Very good. Well, one more time, it is the No Authority Tour. It is kicking off here a little later this month. Ryan, I figured you mentioned Feel Like I Do, so I figured we would end with that to wrap this up. So, dude, thanks for jumping on here with the Seth Williams Show, and good luck on the tour, man. I hope it does great for you.
Thank you for putting up with the technical difficulties early on, but thank you very much for keeping artists in contact with the people that allow us to do what we do, man. You guys keep us all connected, and very much appreciate that.
Very cool, man.
Appreciate it coming on.
Take care, brother.
Thank you.
Next time, what kind of friend would bite my head if I stuck it out like I gave a goddamn? My eyes are open wide and I hate what I find, yeah. The love, the hate, regret, we all have it. We all have it. Yeah. The love, the hate, regret, we all have it. Raise your hands if you feel like I do. Scream it loud if you feel like I do. Ring the bell if you feel like I do. Like you do, like we all do. Raise your hands if you feel like I do. Scream it loud if you feel like I do. Ring the bell if you feel like I do. Feel like you do, like we all do. I climb all 16 chapels and kick out every 16 stone to keep another one from feeling so broken. To keep another one from
Seth Williams loves this land, stands tall and proud. Believes in freedom, speaks his mind out loud. Mentored by Trip, he learned to be tough. Life knocked him down, but he got back up. Lost a leg, but he's still strong and true. Chasing dreams under skies of red, white, and blue. Voting for Trump, he shouts it clear. WTAM tried to bring him down, but he's still here. In the heart of America, Seth takes a stand. Against the tides, he defends our land. Liberals call him crazy, but he don't care. He's got the spirit of an eagle, soaring high in the air. Hates LeBron James, won't wear that crown. Prefers hard work and blue jeans in this town. Radio waves try to shut him up, but Seth keeps singing, filling that cup. From the small town streets to the mountain high, Seth sees the flag waving, reaching for the sky. He keeps on fighting with a rebel yell for every fallen soldier and the stories they tell. In the heart of America, Seth takes a stand. Against the tides, he defends our land. Liberals call him crazy, but he don't care. He's got the spirit of an eagle, soaring high in the air. From the small town streets to the mountain high, Seth sees the flag waving, reaching for the sky. He keeps on fighting with a rebel yell, for every fallen soldier and the stories they tell. In the heart of America, Seth takes a stand. Against the tides, he defends our land. Liberals call him crazy, but he don't care. He's got the spirit of an eagle, soaring high in the air.
Brace yourself for the wildest ride of your life. It's the craziest book Chris Aiken has ever written, and other things I should not say. Get ready for over 500 pages of pure, unfiltered debauchery. From his military years, Chris Aiken spills the shocking stories of sex, partying, violence, and the stuff that's so wild it's probably illegal. You've heard the tales on the Classic Metal Show, but never like this. Don't wait. Get your copy now at chrisaiken.net before the censors try to shut it down.